Hi everybody, it's Dr. David Gustitus talking to you about solutions for low back pain. Today I want to talk to you about how we approach the rehabilitation of the spine. We already talked about having a proper roadmap to know what normal is and know where your spine is. And therefore there's a gap between that normal and where you are, and we need to have that roadmap so we know how to guide your spine towards that normal. We talked about the adjustment. The adjustment is super critical to release the pressure on the nervous system. Now I want to talk to you about rehabilitation of the spine with regard to the muscular system. So the muscles are trained in certain habit patterns, right? Just like we have habits in our behaviors in our brain, we also have these habit patterns in terms of how we hold our body, how we hold our posture. And it's really critical to know that our posture is an extension of our brain, of our nervous system, because we will hold ourselves in that posture. We will contract those muscles in certain patterns because we've been doing it over and over and over again. If we repeat something enough times, it will become the new normal. And many times people will go around, for example, with a forward head posture, with a side shift here or a side shift there, and they're not even aware of it because it's become their new normal. Once we do that assessment of your spine with a proper x-ray and an exam, now we can look at, okay, how do we go about correcting that pathway? How do we go about correcting the spine, correcting the posture, correcting that misalignment pattern? We talked about the adjustment, which is the hands-on correction of those vertebrae that are misaligned. Now we're going to work on the muscular system and how that needs to be also realigned and rebalanced in terms of how those muscles are firing to hold your spine in proper posture and proper alignment. So let me give you an example of a couple of things that we do here. One of them, for example, if your spine is shifted off to the side, if I'm shifted off to the right and I need to work on shifting my lumbar spine back to the left, because this shift to the side, as you can imagine, if the discs are meant to be parallel, working their way up the spine, and I'm shifted this way, it's going to be opened up to this side and likely pinching a nerve somewhere in that pathway. That can lead to what people experience commonly, which is like sciatic nerve pain. The big nerve that is about the size of your pinky that goes down the back of your thigh, back into your calves, all the way down to your big toes and the bottom of your feet. So people might have pain all the way down the top of their foot, the bottom of their foot. They might have numbness. They might feel like there's a hot poker going into their backside. All of that can be can be caused by these misalignments, these shifts in the lumbar spine and the overall spinal alignment. But we're going to address the lumbar spine today. So if I'm standing here next to this block, I'll put this against the wall, I'm going to shift the opposite direction, the opposite way of where my misalignment is. So it's easier to see perhaps this way. If I'm going to hold this block against the wall, I'm going to go opposite that direction. But I need to have a proper analysis to know exactly which combination of those movements is necessary and right for me. Many times, those shifts off to the side, one side or the other, are going to be accompanied with another shift. That would be like in a scoliosis type pattern. So scoliosis can be quite complicated. It can have a rotation. Some scoliosis patients are going to need a brace. They're going to need to be properly assessed and be braced for that, because that way we can correct that pattern and get it and have enough pressure on the spine over a period of a day to allow the spine to actually shift back towards proper alignment. Other forms of exercise we do here at the office, we utilize a wobble chair. This wobble chair right here goes many different directions. Every direction, it's 360 degrees of freedom on this chair. We can go left, right, forward, back, and allow some gentle opening up those vertebrae in the lumbar spine, and allows the disc to get rehydrated, which is super critical, especially when you're coming in with very swollen, very irritated, and painful discs. We also teach patients exercises they can do here. They can do them at home. We work on cat and cow, which many of you might know from exercising at the gym, from taking yoga classes. We also incorporate core training. There's the outer core, which is the six-pack that everybody wants to show off in the summer. But there's also the inner core, which needs to be trained properly. That inner core is what attaches directly to the spine, and that inner core needs to be properly strengthened, and we make sure that our patients get that training before they leave their corrective phase and go on to wellness phase. I want all my patients to be success stories, and we need to correct the problem first, like putting braces on before you put the retainer. So we start with a corrective phase of care, and then we go on to wellness care, which is really trying to maintain but also continue the improvement that can come from a healthy lifestyle and regular chiropractic adjustments. The stresses of life don't stop coming, gravity doesn't stop acting upon us, and we are much better at receiving those stresses and the forces of gravity day to day if our spine and our nervous system are in alignment. If this is helpful for you and you'd like to learn more about how we can apply this to your individual case, we would love to be your solution. Please click below, and we'll see you at the office.